Hey, my friends. Welcome to the Ryan Ray official channel, where we talk money, mission, and mindset from a kingdom perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Ray, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode is part of our Get Serious Conversations That Shift Culture series, where we dig deep into what it means to lead with purpose, steward with clarity, and build a legacy that lasts. Whether you're new here or a longtime listener,
We're excited about today's guest, who we have with us, a man that been able to just kind of stand sideline and watch, and also be able to be in community with, as he is the previous mayor of the town in which I reside. And upon coming into the Knightdale community, was very, very welcomed by Representative Roberson to be able to engage in community and do what I feel called to do with purpose. And so I'm just grateful for him taking the time to be here. He has plenty to do, so we don't take his time for granted. So Representative Roberson, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you so much for what you're doing. And I appreciate the hard work and your commitment to community, because this is what we need, especially during these challenging times. And so I think it's very important that we do everything possible to educate and inform our community. And that's what you guys are doing. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you have this wonderful resource in place.
Well, thank you so much again for taking the time. Again, being the former mayor of Knightdale, a former administrator at Wake Tech, and might as well make a quick early plug here, where we'll be hosting Get Serious Economic Empowerment Day on Saturday, September the 27th. Being an administrator at Wake Tech, now serving in your third term as a member of the House of Representatives. You attended Shaw University here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Got your graduate degree from North Carolina Central over in Durham. And then originally being from Wilson. So you're truly embedded in this market in North Carolina. So it sounds like you're qualified to do the work that you're doing. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what's been that track, that story that got you here? And now you're in a role where, like you say, with the challenges in front of us, you're meeting them head on.
Yeah. Well, I would just start out with my mom. May she rest in peace. She passed away a few years ago, but she instilled in us the importance of education and good values and hard work ethics. And we come from humble beginnings. I was a single parent, but she was determined to make sure that her kids got a quality education through our public school system. And my brother, who passed away at the age of 34, was able to realize his dream. So he was like my mentor, but he was a first generation college student. And so just laying down that foundation, I think it has prepared me for where I am today. And I'm so grateful, to have had a no-nonsense parent that kept me on the right track. And so, my journey to Shaw University really opened the doors for me, because it was there where they wrapped their arms around me, this wonderful HBCU institution with the resources, the mentorships, and just the resources that were needed in order for me to create and pursue my educational pathway. And so I'm forever grateful for Shaw University. And, the journey just took off from there. And then, worked in radio and television for about 10 years and decided to do a career change. And that's where I decided to go to school to get my master's in library and information science from North Carolina Central University. And then from there, landed a position at Wake Tech as an assistant librarian. And then from there, just promotion after promotion started happening. And I ended my career as the chief campus officer of one of 7 campuses at the time, the Western Wake campus over in Cary. We served about 10,000 students at that campus. and Senior Dean of Instructional Support. So I was over all the wraparound services like our individualized learning centers, where we provided remedial and tutorial support for students, library services, where we provided an outreach in terms of library instructions, e-learning testing, and then the media department. And so, I was very fortunate to be placed in that position and to help realize and transform lives. And so this is why I'm so passionate about education.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, I became a town council member where I served 2 terms, and then later on became the mayor of Knightdale. And so I was able to take what I've learned from Wake Tech and do some applied benchmarking and bring it to the town of Knightdale, where we created scholarship opportunities, especially for those kids from our underserved communities. I'm sure that you know about the Arts and Education Festival. That's how it was born. And so
Yes,
we've been able to help some 95 students with their educational and career pathway. And then we partner with local businesses to realize financial resources to help these kids. I just firmly believe that, for those, especially from our underserved communities, they're not asking for a handout. They just need a nudge.
Yep.
And I think it's all of our responsibilities to do that. And when we're able to do that, we're able to realize opportunities, where one can pursue the American dream or go from $13, $14, $15 an hour to now $60 or $70 an hour, where they can become a homeowner, a business owner. And so that has been my passion. That continues to be my passion. And now, as a member of the North Carolina General Assembly, I get to work on those items from a more broader perspective. And so I'm just excited to be able to serve the citizens of my district, House District 39, but not only House District 39, I serve all North Carolinians. So I've been very fortunate in that sense. And, just that those early years of it, being encouraged by my mom.
Yeah.
And explaining to us the importance of voting and, making a way to have a place at the table. It instilled both confidence and strong work ethics. And so I'm just happy to be where I am today, but it's not about me. I've always been taught to pay it forward.
Yes.
And this is what I've made my lifelong mission about, to pay it forward, because there are similar stories like mine out there. And, the folks, they just need an opportunity. And so I'm committed to doing that.
Yeah. Wow. That is great. That is great. I mean, you mentioned your mom a couple of times, and just the importance of that foundation that was given to you as an early age. And I'm sure she continued to have tremendous impact in your life going forward. And, as we think about, just the transition, I think, of parenthood, right, in our communities, the evolution of education. We think now about the job market and technology and all of those kind of things. What is your vision? What is your desire for education and how it continues to really, truly impact where our children and our communities are going?
My vision is to create access and opportunities for every kid, regardless of their race, their social economic background. I think education is the key to the success of any community. And if you look at Knightdale, where we were 30 plus years ago, with, I believe there were like 1,500 folks when we moved here. And, fast forward to today, we're surrounded by top-notch educational institutions, a strong public school foundation, and other educational opportunities. I just believe that is the key to the success of any community, because when a person is able to realize his or her dreams educationally, and whether they decide to go on to a 4-year institution or a community college and enter the workforce, there's an opportunity that they always give back to the community.
Yeah.
So it is important for me, for those that are seeking a lift or a nudge, to try to create that opportunity. Some folks don't know how. They don't know what resources are available to them. And so I feel, as a member of this community, I have the knowledge and the know-how based on my experiences, to share that information. And I should share that information, because if you care about your community, if you really care about your community, you want to make sure that you pay it forward. You want to make sure that you're creating opportunities for others. And so, for me, education is the key. It's the key to workforce development. If you look at the community college, my experience working at Wake Tech, dude, I was on a team that helped thousands and thousands of students and transformed lives, you know. And when you go downtown Raleigh, if you're in the town of Knightdale, Wendell, Zebulon, some of these folks are business owners, successful business owners. You know, some of these folks are educators, first responders, nurses, doctors. And, you know, it's gratifying to know that you've played a part in that. And, you know, in transforming one's life. And so for me, the community college has been great for North Carolina, continues to be great for North Carolina. We have 58 community colleges. And the best thing that the community college did was to partner with other educational institutions, like our 4-year institutions, with the articulation program, where you can go to the community college for 2 years and transfer with an associate degree in applied science or an associate of arts, transfer to a 4-year institution and receive a 4-year degree within 2 to 3 years. Plus, you're saving tens of thousands of dollars. That's commitment to community. That's where my passion lies. That's what I'm working for down in the General Assembly. But in order for this to work, we have to embrace our partnerships with other entities, educational entities, and we have to work together in concert, because it's all about these young minds that are going to be our future. And so we have a wonderful recipe in place, but we need to support that recipe and make sure it has all the right ingredients. And yes, a big part of that ingredient is money. And as a legislator, I think we've done ourselves and we've done North Carolina a disservice when it comes to public education, when it comes to our historical Black institutions, where they have contributed and continues to contribute $1.8 billion a year to our local economies.
Wow.
All right. 1.8. Wow. Now that's just from the 11 HBCUs. Now the community college, you're talking well over billions of dollars in terms of job opportunities and helping folks realize their dreams. Just think about when you're going through the town of Knightdale or any other town, you see police officers. You go to the hospital, you see nurses. Most of those folks got their start at the community college. When you go to the dentist and you have a hygienist, you know, most of these folks started at the community college. And so we should embrace that, but we should also make sure that we take care of those institutions that are really transforming lives. And again, I can't say it enough. I think our public school system, I think the community college, if we fully fund them,
Yeah. The
if
impact
we
they can
fully
have.
fund them, it would have a tremendous impact.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we just don't get it. But I'm making it my passion to continue to keep that conversation on the table and to work on behalf of, these wonderful institutions,
Yeah.
all institutions,
Sure.
all
Sure.
institutions.
Yeah. No, you're doing a great work, and I love that vision. I mean, you said so many things in there, and one I think is that with your experience, your background,
Right.
recognizing the allies, if you will, that helps
Right.
you to get to where you are.
Right.
You have a responsibility, right?
That's
And I
right.
think so many times in our communities we talk about opportunity,
Right.
but sometimes opportunities are really responsibilities, because opportunities
That's
you
right.
don't have to take advantage of, right? You can let an
That's right.
opportunity slide by you. But when you
That's
take
right.
responsibility for the results, number one, of your life, but then also
Right.
of those around you in your community,
Right.
now you get in the game, you start to pay attention, and
Right.
and we're better together.
Right.
And so it's funny. I was me and the team, as we prepare for this event at the end of
Right.
September, we're doing our final walkthrough over at the East Campus in Wendell.
Yeah.
And I saw school buses
Yeah.
pulling up and dropping kids off, and I couldn't
Right.
help but smile, right, to just
Yeah.
think about the advancement. I remember, years ago hearing about you could get a credit here in college, and you can, take your the end of your day over at the community. And now they're getting
Right.
dropped off, right? And so
Yeah.
we're seeing this evolution in education. And then the final point from what you said is, I think too, we really have to raise the volume in our community colleges, because I was fortunate to get out of college over at NC State,
Yeah.
with about a $30,000 debt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unheard of today, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
college
Right.
now is a business decision, right? It is.
That's right.
You can't go hang out for 4 years and
That's
then
right.
leave with $100,000 bill,
That's
right? So
That's
now
right.
I think to really help parents, right? Because
Right.
I think it's the parents, because they want the bumper sticker, right? My child goes to some college or university, but that's an expensive bumper sticker.
That's right.
And so I think what we want to help do is raise the volume on the power of community colleges and the power of this alternative track to education,
Right.
so that they can have at least a equal start, but in a lot
That's
of
right.
cases, I think a head start.
That's right.
And it's just a shift in thinking, right? And
That's
so,
right.
as you're continuing to be a voice in making our local and county and state decisions, like what does that look like on a daily basis for you?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge
Yeah.
when you try to convince your colleagues, um, how important it is that the budget includes um, adequate funding for these institutions. And today, as we sit here and have a conversation, we don't have a budget. We do not have a budget.
Wow.
And so, when you got educators that are committed, that are willing to go into their own pockets and buy resources, but yet the state is not doing its part, something is wrong with that picture. And
sure.
and the focus is placed elsewhere. And I'm not going to get into a lot, but when we spend $1.8 billion or $1.3 billion, I'm sorry, on school vouchers for private schools, I don't care how you get an education. That's fine. I support education, and I understand that there are paradigm shifts along the way. So we should not be doing business that the way we were doing business when it comes to education 15 to 20 years ago.
Exactly.
We should take a lesson from the community college, as I had mentioned on the front end of the conversation, with their partnership with four-year institutions, with the articulation agreement. Also, they partner with the public school system. So if you look at the Burnham and Loan campus. Students can get college credit courses while they're in high school. So those things work. And that's thinking outside of the box. So again, I don't care how you get an education, but let's be equitable about it. Let's not rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Because that's what we're doing. When you take $1.3 billion to date, and all of that money is going towards school vouchers. And I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not opposed to any form of education.
Right.
I am opposed when it's not equitable.
Yeah.
I am opposed when you go to your public schools and they're lacking resources, or they're having to lay off folks, or they cannot retain good quality teachers because they decided to go elsewhere into other states because they have a better job opportunity. They're leaving their passion, something that they went to school for, something that has always been their dream, but they're forced to make a decision because they have to better provide for their families.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we I think we do ourselves a disservice when we are not equitable. And there are wonderful opportunities for, the high schools and even the public charter schools to come together and have conversations.
Yeah.
Wendell has a wonderful public charter school that I have visited time and time, and I've also served as a speaker for their commencement, and they're doing wonderful work. But I asked those tough questions in terms of public charter schools. Who are you serving?
Right.
And the one in Wendell, 60% of the students are on free and reduced lunch. 60% are from underserved communities.
Wow.
This is something that when we hear charter schools, we think, no. Well, they are doing some great things. If the truth, they are doing some great things. They provide transportation. They have members of the community, retired doctors, optometrists, dentists to come in and give exams to students free of charge. It works. And so I was at an event the other day with our superintendent, Mo Green, and he spoke about how it's important that the public school system and the public charter schools come together and work for the betterment of the community. So there's a golden opportunity here.
Yeah.
But we need the adults in the room to sit down and discuss and explore with an open mind. And so, I'm making it my passion because I just believe that education is the key to any successful community. And if you look at the town of Knightdale, if you look at the medium income, where we were to where we are now, the town is growing. You would not have these health agencies. You would not have these major highways in our community and businesses, attracting businesses to our community, if folks didn't see a sense of community, if folks didn't see the progress that is being made. But we have to make sure we take care of our educational institutions.
Yeah, no, that is so much to unpack there.
Yeah,
you're right. We could talk all day, and I'm hoping we get to come back and do this again. Wow. So, in doing the work that we do, friends would say there's again no lack of opportunity.
Right.
There's really no lack of resources, right? But they're going somewhere, right?
That's
and
right.
So, when we think about having this impact that we want to have, we see the community college systems. I've been able to witness the last 3, almost 4 years now, the growth in Knightdale and the surrounding regions, Wendell, Zebulon, just seeing that incredible growth. as we approach this upcoming election, right, which
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
campaigning and continuing to stay in the
yeah,
fight, and we're just so
yeah.
grateful for you in
Thank
doing
you.
so. Yeah, absolutely. What we need at the table, I believe, are people who care, right?
Right.
When I was doing the workforce development work that I was doing a few years ago, and we would have these little round tables, and they say, "Who else
Right.
should be here?"
Right.
And you throw out the people who got the money, you throw out the people who
Right.
have the power, you throw out the
Right.
people who have the positions, right?
Right.
And those people are important, but we need them to care, right?
That's
And
right.
care about the things that we care about,
Right.
right? Care about the communities that
Right.
we care about.
Right.
As you prepare for this upcoming election season,
Mhm.
I know education.
Right.
What else do you care about, and what
Well,
do voters need to know and understand as we go into this season?
I care about the future of Medicaid. We worked hard to get Medicaid expansion a few years ago, and we were able to enroll some 640,000 folks that would not otherwise have affordable health care or access to health care.
Wow.
Now with the federal policies that are coming down from Washington, D.C., or legislation is coming down from D.C., it threatens that. And especially for our rural communities. If this goes through, this trigger piece of legislation, if it goes through, jobs will be lost. I'm sad to say, lives will be lost. We have worked hard as a state to address mental health, and folks are using these resources to address mental health. And when that goes away, that's when you open the door and you go down a slippery slope that may not be good for our community and may not be good for North Carolina. So, Medicaid expansion, it is important that we protect Medicaid expansion, because when we talk about jobs being lost, we're also talking about first responders that will be, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I would see the day, because normally those type of jobs are recession proof.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You think healthcare, you think nurses, but they run the risk of losing funding under this federal piece of legislation. And most states are following what the federal government is doing. And so it puts us in a vulnerable position. So that's one thing that I'm passionate and that I care about and that I'm fighting for. But there's another thing another item that concerns me, I should say, and that's DEI. Most recently, Governor Stein vetoed, I think it was 8 pieces of legislation, and of course they were overridden. And they were overridden because the majority rules. Just like on a federal level, if you have the majority in the House, the majority in the Senate, they're making the decisions in terms of where the monies and all of these things are going. So we need to educate the community to get the community. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent or libertarian. You need to be informed of how decisions are made. You need to be informed of how our economy continues to go down a bad path where folks are losing their jobs, losing their homes, and it becomes a challenge. And we've worked hard to get where we are. Yep. So this DEI piece of legislation is coming up, and the governor has already vetoed that. If it passes, our community colleges and other state agencies will be impacted. Our institutions of higher ed will be impacted. And so you go down a rabbit hole where folks began to be marginalized, folks of color from varied backgrounds. Funding could be impacted as well. And so it's not It's not a good piece of legislation. It's a bad piece of legislation. And it is my hope that we get enough votes on the House side. There's nothing we can do on the Senate side because the Senate is in the super minority. So, but we do have enough members in the House to sustain the governor's veto. But we need every one of those members to be on board. And so that's what we're dealing with. And that's what's is important to me at this juncture. But Medicaid, of course, DEI, and of course, education and making sure that our state employees and our state retirees, another item is our state retirees, haven't had a permanent COLA, cost of living adjustment, in 8 years. And
the cost of living has certainly adjusted in the last 8 years.
So if you think about it, you have a person that has worked for the state or an educator that have given 30 or 40 years of their life in transforming lives.
Yeah, to better our lives.
Right. Yeah. And so when they retire, they should be able to enjoy and look forward to retirement. I've been inundated with calls from folks that are on the verge of losing their homes or becoming homeless. And these are real stories.
Wow.
Right here in Eastern Wake County, one particular story, a lady that has retired from the state. Her husband is a disabled veteran. They decided to move into an apartment, sold their home because, they don't need all of this space at their age.
Sure.
And so when you get into an apartment and they say, okay, it's $1,400 a month and you can manage that.
Yeah.
All right. But you're not prepared a year later when you have these uncontrollable rent increases and all of a sudden you receive a notice. And this is a true story. Your rent goes up $400. Now, you keep in mind, you have not received, as a state retiree, a permanent COLA in 8 years. So you're trying to keep food on the table. You have to pay for your prescriptions.
Yes. Yeah.
So these things are, some of the challenges that are coming down the pike that we're not talking about. And some folks are on the verge of being homeless. Wow. Some folks, their children have made a decision to come from up north or out west and say, well, this is not sustainable. We're taking you home. Yeah. So when you lose those folks to your community, these folks that have been loyal to your community, these are the folks that are shopping at your Walmarts, your Targets, and supporting your local businesses.
Yep.
So when you lose that, the business lose. So what does that say about us? Right. And so I'm also making it my mission to bring awareness because we have a lot of these stories that are happening here in Eastern Wake County, and it concerns me. And I think it's going to become an epidemic. And no one is talking about it, just like no one has talked about homelessness. And I recall when I was the mayor in my first term, and I, brought up homelessness, and there were those that say, oh, well, we don't have a homelessness. Well, look, if you have one person that is homeless, that's one person too many. Yep. And if that person is a disabled veteran, school teacher, or just fell on some hard times, what does that say about us when we ignore? Why should we wait until there are thousands and thousands of folks?
At an epidemic level. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So those are some of the things that
I care about.
Yeah. I care about the most. And of course, our public schools, and I do want to share this. I've had the opportunity to visit schools in the district, and I take the opportunity to do so. These are Title I schools in my district. But I want to share this wonderful story, if I may. I said story, but it's an experience.
Okay.
I went over to Knightdale Elementary some months ago to volunteer my time. Well, first I took a tour, and then I decided to come back and volunteer my time in the cafeteria. And so it was an amazing experience because to see the teachers earlier that morning teach class,
Mm-hmm.
then come into the cafeteria with their classes, help serve the students lunch to an already understaffed cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
After they do that, they then commence to cleaning up the cafeteria for the next group to move in. So I say that to say these are things that we don't often think about.
Right.
But to experience it and to see it,
Mm-hmm.
and then to see how awful we are paying these educators. Whereas when they get off of work, some of them have to go across the street and work at a restaurant to make ends meet. And so they're not spending quality time with their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that say about us? And this is an educational hub. I'm of the opinion North Carolina is an educational hub.
Yeah.
What does that say about us? And when I had asked about, them being understaffed, the public school system at that time in my district and throughout Wake County had lost about $14 million, not by the state,
Mm-hmm.
but from the federal government, because they were Title I schools and they were deemed to be DEI initiatives.
Yep.
These kids did not ask for their circumstances.
No.
And these kids are coming to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And these are bright kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this is how we say thank you to the parents. This is how we say thank you to the teachers. And it really just concerns me.
Yeah.
How we can display a level of not being compassionate enough for these folks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, listen, we appreciate that. Those stories are the things that resonate and land in our hearts. And again, it goes back to responsibility, right? And thank you again for your service. And I hope people take this message to heart because, we all can really get so caught up in our own situations, right? And we all got them. But I think we have to pick our head up. This whole initiative, as we kind of wind this down, this whole Get Serious economic empowerment was really birthed out of that. Taking a walk around my neighborhood, and I'm like, man, where are the kids? Post COVID,
right?
Where are the kids playing in the street? Right.
That's right.
Had the opportunity to lead our Knightdale Rotary Club, and getting people to come out and volunteer and serve. I look at our churches, these pillars and pieces of our community, and I'm like, man, like we are still just sheltered in place. We're so inward focused, but we're so much better in community. And so this Get Serious Economic Empowerment Weekend is really about that. It's a call to action to get people out and begin to take responsibility, take ownership for the life and lifestyle that we desire to live as individuals, that we desire for our families, and having a united vision for our communities. And so we so appreciate your leadership. We're grateful to have someone on our side who cares. I want to encourage you to keep caring, and look forward to continuing this conversation in about 30 days from now in the brand new Wake Tech Community College East over in Wendell at our Get Serious Economic Empowerment Weekend. Any closing comments as we wrap this up?
Well, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank you for your vision. And, I think it's important when you're bringing folks together, not only to inform, but to educate folks. So it affords us the opportunity. Keep building on to what you're building on.
Thank you.
And your outreach to folks like myself and other key members of the community is going to be the key to the success of this initiative. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And so I'm so proud of you and your efforts. I just see wonderful growth coming your way, but I see the passion, and that's important. I see the passion. I see the commitment. So for me and on behalf of members of the North Carolina General Assembly, thank you for your commitment to community.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, we appreciate you. And again, we look forward to continuing this conversation, and we're going to get folks out to vote and make sure that we care and, again, take this responsibility. So until we see you the end of September, God's blessings, and however we can support you, we are here to do so.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend.
Before we wrap up, if today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to take the next step. 1. Register for the Get Serious Economic Empowerment Weekend at GetSeriousSeminars.com. Number 2, join the Faith Focused Finances waitlist. We have some exciting things coming down the pipe. And number 3, download today's free resource. You're going to find it linked below. If you haven't already, subscribe, leave a review, or share this with someone ready to get serious about their life, their money, and their legacy. I'll see you in the next episode.